The Stoics of old trusted in the authority, the tact and the wisdom of remaining silent. They realized that not everything we believe or experience ought to be communicated in the Stoic phrases. With the world Epicurus, the philosopher, there is only one path to contentment, which is to give up fretting over things that are out of our control, our willpower combined with this knowledge. Keep in mind, let's examine the 7 aspects that practicing Stoicism helps us adhere to our eels-seeking inner peace and knowledge. First rule, don't talk poorly about yourself. First and foremost, don't disparage. You are one of the essential Stoic principles. A philosophy that highlights resilience and inner strength is the ban on speaking. Having a bad self-perception implies that you must never partake in rhetoric that belittles oneself, even in the solitude of your own mind, as Marcus, renowned Stoic philosopher Aurelius, and the Roman emperor gave sensible advice to be heard grumbling, even not to you, are the cause of this Stoic behavior. The rule is to safeguard your self-assurance and mental health when your mind is continually racing, such as "I'm awful at this," or "I'll never better." You're just gradually making progress. At your self-worth, these detrimental self-evaluations may have a crippling impact on your drive and prevent your own development. To adhere to this Stoic wisdom, it's important to exercise awareness rather than your internal discourse minimizing yourself. Make an effort to reminding oneself of your abilities and capacities. Affirm to oneself that you are capable of accomplishing this, and if not right away, I'll finally succeed. By adopting this upbeat and growth-oriented thinking, you'll strengthen your resilience and self-assurance, matching given the 2 essential ideas of Stoicism. EP. Don't brag about your personal development. Renowned Stoic philosopher Epictetus provides insightful advice on the matter regarding personal development. He prudently advises because whenever we work to improve others, we ought to do so with a sense of discretion and humility, which implies holding back from yelling out loud about our endeavors and successes to the global community. Rather, we ought to permit our deeds to be the authentic record of our development. In Epicurus's essence highlights that enhancing oneself ought to be an individual, the first journey we go on for our personal gain rather than for praise or acknowledgement of others. When we consistently brag about our advancements, we take a chance, weakening the genuineness of our goals, similar to declaring our objectives in advance, reaching them, which may unintentionally decrease our commitment and motivation. Epictetus exhorts us to adhere to the proverb, "Actions speak louder than words." State that the actual measure of our own development is not found in the extravagant claims we make, but in the noticeable shift that we experience as our genuine nature and thinking in behavior development is exhibited by the manner in which we interact with others. We impart qualities and the attributes of wisdom that we represent the main lesson, which is that enhancing oneself ought to be a serene and assured purr. Instead of making our intentions known, we must put in a lot of effort in the history and concentrate on our individual development. We allow our accomplishments to take center stage naturally and motivate others to be more susceptible to influence and amazed by the noticeable advancements they observe in the US, as opposed to by the meaningless phrases we say in number 2. Second tip, avoid being a glutton. Epicurus. The glutton asserts that the source self-improvement is the best route. Carried out with modesty and humility, we ought to allow our actions and successes to speak for us, as this is the most important, genuine and effective technique for inspiring and have an impact on those in our immediate vicinity. 3. Avert turning into a renowned Stoic philosopher, glutton Marcus Aurelius offers wise counsel regarding the importance of using moderation in every aspect of life, with an emphasis on his advice on eating and drinking habits. highlights that eating too much can have adverse consequences, including elevated exhaustion and tension in the body and psyche. The Stoic school of thought emphasizes the significance of self-control and discipline as crucial elements of achievement in our career and personal lives. Individual activities, which implies that engaging in moderation is not only advised, but an essential idea that has to be hugged as if they were a pendulum swaying to one severe excess in food consumption or consuming alcohol in excess may provide brief enjoyment, but it overburden our bodies and minds in the end. For example, consuming too much can lead to health issues, physical discomfort, and the mental pain caused by regret or guilt, comparable to alcohol abuse, can result in bad decision-making, and a lack of Moyer's wisdom advises us to exercise self-control. To achieve equilibrium between a middle route and severe self-control or abstinence. Since they might both be just as destructive, this can cause a sense of being deprived annoyance and, ironically, might even support the want to overindulge. Later on, the key is moderation as opposed to excess. We should eat till we are uncomfortable. Likewise, until we are satisfied, as opposed to overindulging in what should be enjoyable booze, it in a way that enhances, instead than diminishes our experiences. Keep in mind, among the magnificent life orchestra, moderation is essential when it comes to coordinating our efforts and guaranteeing a more contented and well-rounded journey. The Stoic philosophy demonstrated by Musonius informs us that restraint is not only a virtue in relation to eating and drink. This is a universal truth that is applicable to all facets of our lives by using moderation. Practice self-control and discipline. Things are not only advantageous, but necessary for attaining success and keeping a peaceful life. Thirdly, avoid having a big tongue. Third, avoid having a big tongue. Classical counsel from the Greek philosopher considered the founder of Stoicism. Zeno remains true in the cacophonous and swiftly moving society. You possess 2 ears and, listen, 1 mouth is meant for a purpose. More than what you say in our modern day when it appears that attention is needed more audible than before, Zeno's seeming simple guidance has profound importance and pushes us to think about the ways in which we interact and communicate. With others, it's crucial to heed his warning about the noise often comes via social media, events and casual conversations in which people are still making an effort to be heard. In our rush to voice our thoughts, we occasionally ignore the enormous significance of actively listening. Being a good listener brings about, "You are unique," which speaks volumes about your compassion as well as thoughtfulness. When you pay attention, you produce, allow the speaker a place, and provide them with a priceless present from honor. Listening is a skill that calls for more than only the lack of noise it entails. Lending someone your full focus and attention to their feelings and nonverbal clues, forming beneficial connections that are meaningful. Others experience gratitude. Being heard and comprehended improves connections and gets better. Interaction in both private and listening abilities. In professional settings can strengthen bonds and inspire foster cooperation and a feeling of trust. Furthermore, listening provides you with the opportunity to develop and learn via active observing what other people are saying. Gaining knowledge of fresh viewpoints and knowledge obtained through hearing acts as a launch pad for individual development and a manual for selecting sensible DX selections. You have 2 ears for a reason, 1 mouth, so pay more attention than you talk. In line with Zeno's ancient knowledge, 4th tip, pay attention more than you talk. 4th, pay more attention than you talk. In a culture where being unique is valued, being a good listener requires mindfulness, courtesy and discernment. The next time when you find yourself in a dialogue, stay in. Recognize the value of listening, and you will establish a deep bond with others. In addition to a route to individual and for professional development, pay more attention than you speak often occupies center stage in the fifth Stoic lesson is to avoid turning into excessively focused on the upcoming epicus, and as other notable Stoic thinkers point out, that certain facets of existence are such that we just cannot control certain things. Something might occur in next events, had previously occurred in the past, or the ideas and deeds of others. Anxiety over these matters may result in unnecessary tension and discontent. Renowned Stoic philosopher Epicurus emphasized that the key to truly be happy, one must let up of letting go of our fixation on problems that are beyond our power, as he eloquently said that the road to happiness is a single one, and that is to put an end to concern. What's presented here is an overview of what this knowledge of Stoicism comprises beyond. The extent of our embracing the limitations of your power is necessary but uncontrollable, everything that takes on in your life. Certain things are simply beyond your control, because no quantity of anxiety or worry will. For example, you can't make them disappear, regulate the behavior of others, the climate or future unpredictability. 3. Select your Stoic responses. Instructs us to focus on the present moment, and now that you have the ability to act and choose, is constrained to the current time by giving it your all in the moment that you have. Constructively mold your 2 areas of interest for the future on the here and now, rather than ruminating on the past has passed or starting to worry about the future, over which you have no control outside events. You can always regulate your response to them. In this, self-mastery makes it possible for you to contentment and tranquility in the middle of. The uncertainties of life are something that the Stoics stress, in order to decrease unnecessary tension, that is always worrying about prospective occurrences in the future, could result in Stoicism amid stress and anxiety, promotes us to welcome the uncertainties of life. Instead of fighting it, we can do this. Reduce our mental strain and take on more peaceful lifestyles, as per Epicurus's perceptive instructs. The Stoic, we are advised by philosophy to let go of extreme concern about the future and focus on the things we can control. Number 5. Show gratitude. Method can result in increased happiness, resilience, and a more serene mental state. Don't be number 5. Unthankful. For one important part of our relationships with other people are how we express appreciation or the contrary. In being grateful is vital, but never express what you find objectionable. Anything for life is an amazing thing, gift which we ought to accept with thankfulness for each and every minute that we acknowledged, as the classical philosopher. Epicurus aptly declared that he is a smart someone who abstains from being sad rather than focusing on his shortcomings, discovers happiness in those he has. This timeless knowledge that imparts us to always recognize and express gratitude for the small blessings in our life. Being unappreciative does not imply acknowledging or expressing gratitude for the positive things that happen to us, appear in a variety of ways, from ignoring the generosity of others to assuming our everyday comfort taken granted. Showing appreciation is a means of recognizing the good elements of our daily existence and the work of individuals who support our happiness. When we show our lack of gratitude, we run the risk of becoming estranged from those nearby, which may result in miscommunications, cause sentimental harm, and a social climate of strain. In contrast, expressing thankfulness encourages constructive, establishes connections, and a setting where people are cherished and feel appreciated. Hence, in your dealings with other people, never forget how important it is to be Be grateful and make it a practice to communicate appreciation for the good deeds, the prospects, as well as the gifts that, as a result of doing so, you not only encourage wholesome connections, but also enhance your own existence by acknowledging the goodness and beauty all around you. 7. Be happy instead of whining. Life is full of complainers, and a lot of without even recognizing it. We grow. Frequently use it as an outlet for our disappointments or look for pity from others. But in practice, complaining rarely helps to make a situation better, rather than has a tendency to bring bad things into our lives and those nearby. As the lives of the astute philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, very little is required to create a joyful life. Is all contained within you, in your mentality, or, to put it another way, words are. Our mindset has a big impact on how happy we are, and the way we decide to understand and react to the environment we find ourselves in. Number 6. Why voice grievances is ineffective. 6 reasons why grousing doesn't work. Complaining frequently turns into a habit, unproductive circle that occurs when we voice our complaints concerning anything. It doesn't typically yield a resolution or constructive modification. Rather, it may engender a feeling of powerlessness and victimization. It serves to confirm the notion that we have no authority over our environment, which can cause more tension and annoyance. Furthermore, persistent whining can be taxing. Our connections may involve strong emotions, exhausting for people nearby, and people may grow less inclined over time to extend their assistance or company. Negative vibes spread easily, and grumbling usually leads to more power. Of optimism, on the other hand, selecting should keep quiet and concentrate on the positives can have transforming effects. Consequences on our life. This is how one better mental state after quitting. By grumbling, you release your thoughts from focusing instead than lingering on issues on solutions that may result in decreased stress, boosted emotional toughness, and enhanced mental health in general. 2 persons with improved relationships are innately drawn to people who radiate optimism. By deciding not to voice grievances, you can improve your social ties and create a deeper, more meaningful relationships. 3 rows to complaining about productivity frequently acts as a diversion from acting during. You change your perspective to focus on finding answers and being proactive. You grow more effective and productive in your attempts to express. Thanks don't. Grumbling makes you want to be more incredibly appreciative of what you have, acknowledging and valuing the good things in your life, regardless of how small things might make you feel satisfied and happiness. Number 7. Guidelines for number 7. Strategies to cut down on grievances. Lowering grievances, mindfulness training, and conscious of your feelings and ideas. You can catch yourself more easily if you practice mindfulness just before you start to gripey and shift your attention to looking for solutions. When a dilemma or conflict arises, change the way you view about identifying issues and taking initiative instead of focusing on the third issue. Be grateful and cultivate the habit of give thanks for all the blessings in. This could change the course of your life. Viewpoint on the advantages of yours. Complaining about one's existence is a detrimental and frequently destructive habit. By adopting a happier and solution-focused education mentality, you can cultivate a more contented and joyful life. Recall, as sagely advised by Marcus Aurelius, noted that the secret to happiness is within us and the manner in which we think. Adopting Stoic values can be effective ways to develop strength and wisdom and tranquility within ourselves. A crucial component of this ideology is the act of choosing when to be silent. This entails giving considerable thought to in knowing when to talk and when to keep quiet. This tact in speaking can significantly accelerate our own development and our relationships with other people. The Stoic philosophy serves as a reminder that not everything that we believe or feel must stated similarly to how certain treasures are best kept private and close to our hearts. It's best to keep ideas and feelings private, enabling further in-depth reflection from within and oneself. Self-actualization. This inward thinking back can be quite beneficial for our trip in search of a deeper comprehension of the universe and ourselves. The Stoics around us realized that silence can be a very useful teacher. It helps us listen with greater attention to our internal dialogue, to see the environment surrounding us with more clarity, and to obtain knowledge that could otherwise be overpowered by the din of persistent. Essentially, by practicing, we can learn to use selective quiet. Traverse life with greater purpose and knowledge, ultimately resulting in a more profound and meaningful life.